Now at 7 on WKYT this morning, a man is fighting for his life after an overnight shooting in Lexington. WKYT's Mike Byer has the details on the investigation. Plus, friends and family are still looking for a missing Northern Kentucky woman who police say was murdered. Why friends say they're not giving up on finding Crystal Warren. And Hillary Clinton wants Donald Trump to show people his taxes. We'll have the latest on both campaigns coming up on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good Saturday morning to you. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Michelle Chamberlain, and with us this morning is meteorologist Jim Caldwell. Jimmy, do people need an umbrella today? I hope I don't, because I lost mine.
That's so unfortunate that you lost your umbrella.
It makes me sad, actually.
I think we can go swipe one out of the KYT prize locker here. We'll try our best to find you one. Temperatures out there this morning, that's the big issue, at least to start today. We're still running in the 70s, Michelle. 77 right now in Lexington with a feels like temperature closer to 80. Same thing in Frankfort. A lot of humidity in there, and that's going to help fuel some scattered showers and thunderstorms later today. There you see what we've got here with our forecast breakdown. We will be tracking some scattered shower storms into the afternoon and evening. I think that we'll get up to 88. Feels like temperature probably around 93, 94, so rather uncomfortable during the peak heating of the day. And then tomorrow, more widespread chances of showers and thunderstorms with that heavy rain potential. We will track that hour by hour with our model run coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Jimmy. Lexington police say a man is in critical condition after he was shot overnight. It happened at a home on Dominican Drive around 2:30 this morning. So that's not far from Whitney Young Park off of Georgetown Street and New Circle Road. WKYT's Mike Byers live in Lexington with what we know this morning. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Michelle. I'm at UK Hospital where Lexington police say a man was taken after being shot overnight. Now, police are working to gather all the details in this investigation, and here's what they have told us. Police say they went to a home in the 400 block of Dominican Drive shortly after 2:30 this morning. They say a man had multiple gunshot wounds, one of those to the leg. At first, police told us the man had non-life-threatening injuries and was taken to UK Hospital. But we got an update from police about an hour later, and they told us the victim was in surgery with life-threatening injuries. At last check with police, the man was in critical condition, but we don't know the status of his surgery. Now, police don't know what led up to the shooting. They tell us they're still working on figuring out those details. Police don't have a description for the suspected shooter, but they did tell us a burgundy passenger car was seen leaving the area where the man was shot. We're told that car sideswiped another car, so it does have some damage to it. Again, the man in the shooting is in critical condition here at UK Hospital. Live in Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Friends and family are still looking for a missing Northern Kentucky woman who police say was murdered. Police say Crystal Warner and her boyfriend, Robert Jones, were last seen alive last month in Washington County. They found Jones's remains last Friday in Clark County, but they have not found Warner's. Family and friends have split up into groups in different areas from Washington County to Montgomery County. They say they're not giving up until they find Crystal.
I know for a fact that's what he would want. And, you know, it kind of brings peace to me and other guys in the group to know that somebody cares and somebody does want to do that for me, even though he can't.
Family and friends continue to ask people to keep their eyes open for anything suspicious around their properties and call in any tips that could help them find Crystal's body. A federal jury has returned its verdict against 4 people on trial for a vote-buying case out of Magoffin County. The case stems from the 2014 elections. The jury convicted Magistrate Gary Reisner, Tammy Joan Reisner, and Larry Shepard on conspiracy charges. The verdicts came after several hours of deliberations, and they'll be sentenced in December. The jury acquitted Mason Daniels. The family of a Laurel County woman police say was killed by her boyfriend feels justice was not served in the case. Police say Christopher Bird shot Shannon Engel during an argument in July of last year. Bird had been charged with murder, but this week a Laurel County jury convicted him of reckless homicide and recommended a 1-year sentence. Since Bird has served more than 400 days in jail, he was released on Thursday. Engel's family says they are furious with the sentence.
I can't believe that they have set a murderer that will kill again on the streets.
Court documents show in February of 2015, Bird was charged with assault and admitted to police that he punched Engel in the head. But that case was not allowed to be used in court during Bird's trial. Police are trying to figure out what led to a motorcycle crash in Laurel County. It happened yesterday afternoon on Interstate 75 just south of London. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office says the motorcycle could not stop for slow traffic and slid on its side. They say the man on the motorcycle, Justin Butler of Eubank, was airlifted to UK Hospital. We do not know his condition this morning. Investigators think a fire that damaged a home on the University of Kentucky campus was intentionally set. We first told you about this story yesterday morning. Lexington firefighters say they were called to an abandoned home on South Limestone near Maxwellton Court. Investigators believe the fire had been burning for a while before they were called. No one was injured, but they say this arson caused extensive damage.
I mean, anytime, that we have someone that has intentionally set a fire, we don't want that to happen again. I mean, it's a crime, but it's also a danger to obviously other people, to our people. A fire in a floor in a building, that can be a problem. We have people that have suffered some fatal injuries falling through floors. So we would like for this to get wrapped up.
So far, no one has been arrested in this case. The University of Kentucky did send out a crime bulletin after the fire. Governor Matt Bevin has appointed 3 people to the University of Kentucky Board of Trustees. One of them, Kelly Knight Craft, was the co-chairwoman of the governor's inaugural committee. She's also a major Republican fundraiser. Now, the other 2 appointees are Jennifer Barber and Michael Christian. All 3 will serve terms that expire in 2022. A new poll shows Donald Trump is losing ground in critical battleground states. Hillary Clinton released her 2015 taxes, and she's putting pressure on the so-called billionaire to make his public. Craig Boswell has the latest on both campaigns.
Reince, come here for a second, please.
Donald Trump and RNC Chairman Reince Priebus put on a united front during rallies in Pennsylvania.
But we're raising a lot of money for the Republicans.
Frustrated with Trump's messaging, some Republicans urged the RNC to cut off funds to his campaign Thursday. Trump tried to walk back his comment that President Obama and Hillary Clinton were the founders of ISIS.
Obviously, I'm being sarcastic. Then, but not that sarcastic, to be honest with you.
The Republican nominee also toured a manufacturing plant and talked with workers in Altoona. The Republican nominee hasn't won Pennsylvania since 1988.
The only way we can lose, in my opinion, I really mean this, Pennsylvania, is if cheating goes on.
A new national poll shows Clinton opening a wider lead over Trump in the battleground states of Colorado, Virginia, and North Carolina.
But the race is tighter in Florida, where Clinton has a 5-point lead. Clinton released her 2015 tax return Friday. Earlier this week, she called on Trump to do the same.
He refuses to do what every other presidential candidate in decades has done and release his tax returns.
Clinton's return shows she and Bill made more than $10 million and donated $1 million to charity, most of it to the Clinton Family Foundation. Craig Boswell, CBS News, the White House.
Some old friends gathered one last time at the former Bluegrass Stockyards location in Lexington. Now, the site on Lyle Industrial Avenue was destroyed in a massive fire in January. But the Stockyards' 4th annual Internet Roundup Sale and Barbecue was held there yesterday. It was billed as the last hurrah for the old location. Buyers bid on cattle that were shown on big screens. Stockyard leaders say people have fond memories of the old location.
I mean, there's a heart tug there, but it is. I mean, it's rewarding to know that you see the big crowd and the facility, the business was really important to people, like we've talked about, and it's rewarding to see that.
A new home for Bluegrass Stockyards is being built off of Ironworks Pike at the Fayette-Scott County line. Stockyard leaders hope it's ready for business by this time next year. Back here in the United States, Friends have planned a softball tournament to honor a fallen Kentucky State Police trooper. Last year, police say Sergeant David Gibbs was on his way to his grandmother's funeral when he lost control of his car and crashed in LaRue County, killing himself. His friends wanted to come up with a good way to remember him. They say he loved baseball.
We thought, why don't we concentrate our efforts, put it into a softball tournament, call it the Sergeant David Gibbs Memorial Softball Tournament, 1st annual.
The tournament will be held September 16th through the 18th at Veterans Memorial Park in Campbellsville. The money raised during the tournament will go to the State Police Trooper Island. This weekend is the 2016 Crave Lexington Food and Music Festival. The festival starts today at noon at Masterson Station Park. There will be food, music, bounce houses for the kids, and some craft brews and wine for adults. Admission is $6, and kids 10 and younger get in free. Parking is also free.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
We are running in the 70s here this morning, and heat index actually pushes us closer to 80 degrees. Yeah, we're talking heat index, and the sun is barely even up out there right now. 77 in Lexington, 79 into Frankfort, and we've got a 75-degree reading in Mount Sterling. So plenty of warmth out there. Our hour-by-hour heat index is really going to push us even higher today. That's what you're going to feel like when you walk outside today. That's the true experience. So by noon today, it's already going to feel close to 90. We get into the afternoon and evening hours, and you can see the heat just keeps on coming all the way through till we even get into your Monday. The heat index is going to be an issue. Now, here's the current picture with our Defender radar network. A couple of isolated showers and thunderstorms. Looks like they're trying to go up. More activity to our north, and most of the action that we're going to track over the next couple of days will stay just to our north. There's a frontal boundary there, and we're also trying to feed that frontal boundary with an area of low pressure. This low has influenced our weather in one way or the other over the past several days here. Showers, thunderstorms, and just helping to push all that humidity into town. I mean, it has been so uncomfortable the past few days, and it remains on that side. Here's our hour-by-hour forecast for today. While this model and most models have fared very poorly with the overall performance of showers and thunderstorms this week, this one is certainly picking up on the activity, but again, it's underperforming, I think, on some of the intensity, because I do think these rounds of showers and thunderstorms will be just a little bit heavier than what's suggested here. But today's not even our day to get in on some of the heavier rain. We could run into it, but I think as we get into tomorrow, that's when it's going to be more action-packed. And it's certainly action-packed north of here into southern Illinois, southern Ohio, and southern Indiana. That's going to be the main zone for action. We get into Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. We're tracking more of these thunderstorms into town with heavy rain potential arriving yet again. So we still have plenty of action to go around here. And you can see with one of our rainfall forecasts, well, this is the NAM, that's a model, and you can see the heaviest stuff still showing up well to our north. I think some of it might ease a little bit more into parts of central Kentucky at least. Here we go, off to the 7-day forecast, and we're tracking a few showers and thunderstorms today. We will also do that again into tomorrow. I think tomorrow's a better chance. You can see we've ramped the chances up to 70% at that point, and then we go beyond that, and we have even more chances of showers and thunderstorms across the board here. So it's a pretty active week as we're running into there.
That's good to hear. Thanks for that update, Jimmy. I hope I wasn't distracting. I'm like going around shooting you on Facebook Live and showing people what you do behind the scenes.
That's right. Yeah, she's got her phone propped up over here, and you can see it behind the scenes here as well. But we've got something very interesting here.
What is that?
This story, right?
Oh yeah, a book checked out of a West Virginia library 40 years ago has finally found its way back. And no, you didn't check it out, right? I
didn't check it out. This sounds like the story from Seinfeld, if you all remember the library cop episode. Anyway, a Florida plastic surgeon and star of the TLC show Body Works returned to the library ready to face trouble. Dr. Michael Kelly checked out the book in the 70s, then left for medical school 2 months later. At 10 cents a day, for all those years, Kelly owed about $1,400. Luckily for him, there's a cap at $10. Still, Kelly gave the library a check for $500 for the late book.
And then he gave it back? He didn't keep it?
I guess so, right? I don't know. I have checked out one. It was an LSAT guide. I was studying to take the entrance to get into law school. And, and maybe I didn't take it back. It just hit me. I'm not going to say where, but I'm going to try to take it back next week.
What could your fine be?
I don't know. Next week I'm taking it back,
Hopefully they have a cap there.
I hope they do, because it's been a while.
Okay, so when WKYT This Morning returns, we'll get a preview of a movie where a kid is not alone in the forest. A look at Pete's Dragon when we come back. Good morning. 3 new movies hit theaters this weekend, but do any of them have the power to defeat the Suicide Squad? Plus, Green Day has released a new single taking on the culture of mass shootings. Rick DeMiguela has that story and more in this morning's look at entertainment.
Nobody can survive in that forest for 6 years. At least not alone. Pete is definitely not alone in that forest. Pete's Dragon swoops into theaters this weekend, with experts predicting a $25 million opening for the remake. The 1977 original combined live action with hand-drawn animation, while the 21st century Elliot is a CG dragon.
Get him straight, boys! Hey, look at this! We've got one! Yes, we're chosen!
Sausage Party is a completely different take on the animated genre, earning the first R rating for a CG film. Pundits predict the party could make anywhere between $15 and $20 million this weekend. Star Seth Rogen says he's enjoyed the reviews of Sausage Party.
I saw one review that said it's as though it's like if the people at Pixar got syphilis. Which I actually took as an incredible compliment.
Want to try another take? Well, I don't see why. That seemed perfect to me.
Based on a true story, Florence Foster Jenkins tells the tale of a New York socialite turned opera singer, and not a very good one. The movie is opening on far fewer screens than its competitors and is expected to make between $5 and $8 million.
Only in America could that happen, that one year you're checking coats and the next minute you're starring on television.
Roma Downey has received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The Touched by an Angel actress was joined at the ceremony by her co-star Della Reese and her husband, producer Mark Burnett. Downey's star is actually right next to her husband's. Downey and Burnett are producing the upcoming remake of Ben-Hur.
I get my kicks and I want to start raging.
Bay Area rockers Green Day have announced a new album and released a video for the first single called Bang Bang. Billy Joe Armstrong told Rolling Stone, quote, "It's about the culture of mass shooting that happens in America mixed with narcissistic social media." The song will be on the band's new album Revolution Radio, dropping October 7th. U.S. fans of Japanese horror films may scream at this next story. The supernatural face-off film The Ring vs. The Grudge, known as Sadako vs. Kayako in Japan, has been picked up by the Shudder streaming service for exclusive showings in North America. For Hollywood Minute, I'm Rick Damagella.
So there's still more to come on WKYT this morning. A beloved former Wildcat has a future in the NBA. We'll have that story coming up. Sports is next.
We are tracking a little sunshine out there for you this morning, and temperatures running in the 70s, close to 80 degrees. You factor in the humidity, and it certainly feels that way as well. Later today, it's going to be more of temperatures getting closer to the 90-degree mark, and we'll also be tracking a few scattered showers and storms. Watch what happens with our high-resolution model. You'll start seeing all of the rain start to fill in here. The beginning of what likely ends up a very wet weekend. That is your weather forecast. Now, here's a look at sports.
The football Wildcats wrapped up their first week of preseason camp on Friday, and by all indications, Drew Barker has been performing well. Much of the upcoming season is riding on Barker, who has had his ups and downs on and off the field since arriving at UK. Now, one of the first things that new quarterbacks coach Darren Henshaw told Barker back in the spring was he needed to change his brand.
Let's see, when I came in and I said Drew Barker, the name Drew Barker, what does everybody say? And the things that came out of my mouth were not good, okay? The things that came out of the AD's mouth were not good. The things that came out of the equipment room was not good. I said, your brand stinks. Let's just call it how it is. So we have to change it. And then the only way you're going to change it is not with your mouth, it's going to be with your actions and what you do on and off the field. And he's done what he's supposed to do to change his brand.
Last night, this is pretty cool. Charles Walker was able to shed the label of walk-on and was awarded a scholarship by Mark Stoops. Walker, a junior out of Louisville St. X, played in all 12 games last season with one start. He had 5 catches for 61 yards. And Mark Stoops said on Twitter, "Never been so proud. This guy is so deserving." Well, Alex Poythress has signed a partially guaranteed contract with the Indiana Pacers, who went undrafted in June, and will likely spend the season with the Pacers NBA Developmental League affiliate, the Fort Wayne Mad Ants. Poythress played in the NBA Summer League with the Orlando Magic. And for the second consecutive game, the U.S. men's Olympic basketball team survives a major scare last night. 2 days ago, it was Australia. Last night, it was Serbia. The USA holds on 94-91 as Serbia misses a three-pointer at the buzzer that would have sent the game into overtime. Kyrie Irving leading a balanced scoring effort with 15 points. DeMarcus Cousins only 5 points. He's not playing well. Up next for the red, white, and blue will be France on Sunday. That's a look at your morning sports. Have a great day.
Now at 7:30 on WKYT this morning, an overnight shooting in Lexington sends one man to the hospital. Police say that man is in critical condition. We'll have details coming up. We've learned more about how investigators say a federal suspect ended up dead in Harlan County. They say a Lexington firefighter shot him during a joint operation. And it's one of the new 7 wonders of the world. But that doesn't mean Rio's Christ the Redeemer statue is safe from Mother Nature. That story and much more coming up on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good Saturday morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Michelle Chamberlain, and meteorologist Jim Caldwell is in this morning with your forecast. And look at that beautiful picture behind you.
Hey, it is a beautiful picture behind me. Look at that sunrise. Absolutely gorgeous start to what's going to be a very humid day. Unfortunately, it's going to be a day that also features some chances of showers and thunderstorms. Right now, we're at 77 degrees. Humidity up, and that's natural for this time of day. It's 84%, so the feels like temperatures has been driven up a little bit, up to 78. A few showers and thunderstorms passed by during the overnight, and you can see more trying to get their act together out to our west here this morning, and that's going to be the primary zone, I think, of action through the day. Let's go through our hour-by-hour run, and you can see the clouds kind of giving way to more sunshine for a brief period today before we run into some chances of showers and storms late into the afternoon and evening. Kind of see some of that rain coming together at that point, naturally cooling us back off. Probably peak in the upper 80s with heat index values in the low to mid 90s throughout most of the area. We'll track the rest of the heat and humidity and the thunderstorm chances coming up for you in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Jimmy. Lexington police say a man is in critical condition after he was shot overnight. It happened at a home on Dominican Drive around 2:30 this morning. So that's not far from Whitney Young Park off of Georgetown Street and New Circle Road. WKYT's Mike Byers live in Lexington with more details. Good morning, Mike.
A man is fighting for his life this morning here at UK Hospital after being shot overnight. Now, details are still somewhat limited in this investigation, but here's what we know right now. Police say they went to a home in the 400 block of Dominican Drive shortly after 2:30 this morning. They say when they arrived, they located a man with multiple gunshot wounds, one of those to his leg. At first, police told us the man had non-life-threatening injuries and was taken to UK Hospital, but we got an update from police about an hour later, and they told us the victim was in surgery with life-threatening injuries. At last check with police, the man was still in critical condition, but we don't know the status of his surgery. Now, police don't know what led up to the shooting. They tell us they're still working on figuring out those details. Police don't have a description of the suspected shooter, but they tell us the burgundy passenger car was last seen leaving the area where the man was shot. Now, we're told that car sideswiped another car as it left, so it does have some damage to it. Again, the man involved in this shooting, the man that was shot, is listed in critical condition here at UK Hospital. Live in Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Thanks for the information, Mike. So we've learned more about how investigators say a federal suspect ended up dead in Harlan County. They say a Lexington firefighter shot him during a joint operation. Mark Swaff was arrested in June because investigators say he put explosives in trail cameras around Harlan County. Police say Swaff was brought back to the county from jail to find the remaining explosives. Police say it was part of a joint operation between the ATF, State Police, the Lexington Police Hazardous Devices Unit, and Lexington Fire investigators. But police say Swaff then tried to run off, forcing Lexington Fire Captain Brad Dubinsky to shoot him.
Well, all that's still under investigation. We do know that an altercation did take place, and during that altercation, deadly force was utilized.
Lexington City leaders say Captain Dubinsky is now on administrative duty. They say all fire investigators have carried weapons since 1996, and this is the first time a Lexington firefighter has been involved in a deadly shooting. Police say one of the cameras that Swaff is accused of placing explosives in injured a man in the chest and the head. Swaff's father says the explosives are nothing more than a hobby. He also says Swaff was happy when a judge approved for him to show authorities where the remaining explosives were located.
He was upbeat, told his lawyer he's relieved, he cried, that luckily nobody got injured and he wanted to have other people saved.
Police tell us Swaff tried to run from them, and that's when he was shot by a Lexington fireman. Swaff's father says authorities handled the situation with what he calls reckless disregard. Today is a big day for plenty of students attending the University of Kentucky this year. It's the Big Blue Move today. About half of the student population will start moving back into dorms. Now, the move-ins are expected to significantly impact traffic in and around campus, especially combined with the already existing construction that's taking place. You can find out which streets are impacted by the Big Blue Move on WKYT.com. Thousands of people will lace up their running shoes tonight for the annual Midsummer Nights Run here in Lexington. The 5K race starts at the intersection of Limestone and Main Streets. So if you're driving downtown, different streets will be closed between 4 and 11 o'clock tonight. Registration is from 2 to 8 at the Courthouse Plaza. Remember, you can keep up with the latest traffic changes and track your weekend forecast with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. You can download it for free in the app or Google Play stores. In international news, the Olympics are still going strong, and Christ the Redeemer is one of the new 7 wonders of the world. It's also the #1 attraction for those visiting the Olympic Games in Rio. But as Jamie Yucas shows us, even a statue of Jesus is prone to Mother Nature's wrath.
The picturesque statue of Christ the Redeemer sits atop Rio's Corcovado Mountain and is considered the largest Art Deco-style sculpture in the world.
Wherever you are in the city, he's looking over you. You can never forget about the Christ, the Redeemer.
Every year, nearly 2 million people get up close and take pictures from every angle. It's Brazil's national icon, and protecting it can be a challenge. The statue sits 2,000 feet up, and because it sits between the mountains and the Atlantic Ocean, it's a prime target for lightning. Workers say it is hit about 6 times a year. The Catholic Church now works with a weather monitoring center, so the busy area can be evacuated during a storm.
There's some people that say that lightning don't hit the same place twice. But the finger of the right hand of the Christ the Redeemer has already been hit more than 10 times.
Christina Ventura is an architect. She says it's her privilege to literally care for Christ. Ventura says copper lightning rods have been placed on the statue to send lightning to the ground.
They are in the tip of the finger, run over the shoulders, and there is a crown on the top of the head. This is all the system of preventing of lightning.
Lightning strikes in 2013 and 2014 did major damage to the statue, breaking off part of the middle finger and thumb. Repairing the statue is quite an undertaking. Architects must go through a rigorous approval process because the stone used in the original is now hard to find and can sometimes be the wrong color. But it's worth it to keep the statue looking like a masterpiece for generations to come. Jamie Yucas, CBS News, Rio de Janeiro.
A local university is now included in a partnership with the construction companies that work to repair the statue. They're working to implement even better protection systems. So your time now is 7:38 on this Saturday morning. We've got a lot more coming up on WKYT. So it's not something you see every day, and it might as well be out of a movie. We'll take a look at 2 pets in Tennessee who have become an unlikely pair. That's coming up after Jim's forecast.
And we'll likely be tracking more heat, humidity, and rounds of showers and thunderstorms that could prompt some high water concerns this weekend. I'll break it all down for you next.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
It has certainly been a very humid week, and our weekend is going to be exactly the same. But the problem is the humidity out there will help trigger some heavy rain producers out there. Rounds of showers, thunderstorms will get going across Kentucky. And there you can see cams from across Kentucky as we're looking in on a lot of sunshine starting to filter in from Moorhead here in Lexington, Frankfort, E-Town. It's everywhere because we're all seeing the light at this point. Now, through the day today, any of those locations could be facing a shower or a thunderstorm. It's going to be a scattered chance, mainly showing up across Kentucky today. But tomorrow gets a little more organized. 77 in Lexington currently, 79 into Frankfort. A little bit cooler to our south. Somerset and London at 73 degrees, but that's still rather uncomfortable, especially this time of day. Now, Defender Radar Network. Pretty calm for the most part. We've been tracking a few showers and thunderstorms outside of Kentucky here this morning, and then late last night we had some pass through. Moisture will continue to get fed into a frontal boundary, and as that happens, this frontal boundary will slowly but surely start to get into Kentucky, and that's going to ignite more chances of showers and thunderstorms here in our area. Also, with that area of low pressure down there, it's going to keep the tropical air alive. How do I know it's tropical? Well, it's simple. Anywhere you see the color yellow, it means it's tropical, and that means it is uncomfortable. So we're going to hold steady with the tropical air mass here into your Sunday and even into your Monday. But you notice that the green is starting to come in, which would mean it's a little bit drier. So what's happening is that front is starting to press in, which means eventually it'll take over. It's going to take a little while. There you see the scattered showers and storms today. Model underplaying these just a little bit. I think the coverage is fine, but I think we might run into some heavier rounds of rain today as well, just like we have on the past several days. Models aren't picking that up, but it certainly ends up happening. Best chances of showers and storms will stay to our north, though. But once we get into your Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, we'll start running into more widespread action around here as well. 7-day forecast just keeps the thunderstorm chances coming across the board here. Reason we've got Sunday, Monday highlighted in red categories is because we think maybe we run into some potentially heavier rainfall during that time. So the flash flood threat will be heightened at that time. And then you get into the middle and latter part of the week. Storms are still around and some temperatures start to go down as well. Michelle, I didn't mean to rhyme that, but it did.
No, that sounded pretty good.
Yeah, there we go.
You're pretty good at that, Jim.
Yeah, accident, total accident.
Okay, so friends come in all shapes and sizes, right?
They do, you're right.
They do, and there can be some unlikely friends, like this one.
Yeah, in Tennessee, a dog and a duck have become two birds of a feather. Lauren Davis has the story.
It's like something right out of a movie.
It's like one of those Disney movies, you know.
George lost his best friend Blackie the Lab 2 years ago this week.
So I've just had a hard time.
Since then, he's been very depressed.
He's almost died twice. He doesn't eat. He would starve himself. He would have anxiety. He's had multitudes of skin infections from chewing on himself.
But this past Monday, Jackie went and looked out her back window and noticed there was a stranger on her back porch. This duck, who hasn't left George's side since. George spends his days by the duck. He lets the duck sleep on his bed, and he even allows the duck to rest his bill on his leg. Something very unusual for a dog who doesn't like anyone else, especially our cameraman.
Okay, nobody's gonna hurt you. George loves him. It's his buddy. He's been really happy with him. So he doesn't eat my food and he sleeps with me.
And the big white duck has brought some peace to George, who used to be very lonely.
Since the duck has showed up, he's been fine. He's not wanted in the house. He's not whined. He's not meeting you at the car, you know, looking sad.
There's some adjusting going on in the home. They're dealing with duck droppings in a home where cleanliness is paramount. And they're going to have to upgrade the bird bath to a bigger tub. But Jackie is just finally glad George is happy.
They're totally different species, and they found company and comfort in each other.
Look at those best friends.
It really is like a Disney movie. If they could just talk, it would have it nailed.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
They're going to give you a call later, Disney is.
They are. That's right.
I think so.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
No, it's
I'm not kidding.
Idea. No, I agree. I'm with you. Totally with you.
Don't argue with me, Jimmy.
Never, ever.
Okay, your time is 7:46. We'll have more news when we come back.
Good morning, I'm Bill Bryant. More than 80 different languages are spoken in homes in Fayette County, and the school system provides translators when needed. A preview of Kentucky newsmakers coming up.
Coming up, we'll have the day's headlines. Plus, did America inadvertently create a heroin crisis? We'll take a look at how the legalization of marijuana pushed Mexican cartels into a different business.
Plus, they shine a light on our lack of darkness. Meet the organization trying to curb light pollution and see the latest location to be certified spectacular.
And it was perhaps the largest personal collection of miniature cars ever. We'll tell you how one man's passing gift is transforming the lives of strangers.
All that, plus your eye-opener, the dish, and music from Amos Lee in our Saturday session just ahead on CBS This Morning, Saturday.
Kentucky mornings start here. You're watching WKYT This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Bill Bryant. Hope you're enjoying your weekend so far. It's a brand new school year. In Fayette County, about 18% of students come from homes where English is not the primary language spoken at home. The school system provides translators for more than 80 different languages. And on Kentucky Newsmakers, we talked with a couple of educators who run that program.
That's correct. We have
I'd say about 10, 15 years ago, we were right around 1,500 students. We're over 5,700 students now, and as you mentioned, over 80 languages. So the opportunity to make sure every family and student has access to a quality education begins with removing the barrier of language. We want them to maintain their culture and their heritage language, and that's also an asset in today's global societies to be able to become bilingual. But we want to provide an opportunity, provide initial access, just like you and I had when we went to school.
You want them to be able to, as you say, assimilate but maintain their culture, and so that has to be a challenge as well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But the important thing, I think, is the access and the opportunity for learning. Maintaining their heritage is, they bring that with them. We call that cultural capital, right? So when they come to our school system, we value their language, but we want to make sure that they have every opportunity for their children to succeed.
And Jessica, you brought along a poster that shows, that is, as I understand it, on display in many of the Fayette County schools, if not all of them, and it reminds parents, first of all, of how many languages there are and that they do have access to interpreters.
Yes, that is correct. We have this poster displayed at all of our schools and office facilities within Fayette County, and it does remind them and let them know that they have a right to an interpreter.
Each of these is a different language that is spoken?
Yes, we have about half of the languages here represented in this poster, but we have a little bit over 89 spoken languages.
I won't ask you to tell them all, but just a few of the languages that are spoken in Lexington that might be surprising to people.
Yes, we do have some of the top 10 languages are Arabic, French, Swahili, Japanese, Chinese. We also have Hindi, Urdu, among many other languages.
And so you have parents who are very eager to help their children, but in many cases this is a barrier to them, right?
That is correct.
And how do you address that?
We have multiple means of communicating with our families. Many of our families oftentimes request paperwork to be sent home in their native language, and we strive to meet that need. This year we have integrated a new service in Fayette County. It's called Language Line Services, and that service is just-in-time service. When somebody walks into a school and they do not speak English, for instance, say they Swahili-speaking family, and nobody at the school speaks Swahili or the office staff, a language line will provide us within less than a minute. We will be able to communicate with this family via phone interpreting services.
What other challenges other than language do these first-generation Americans face?
Well, I think part of it is acclimation or assimilation into our school system in the United States and in Lexington as well. Knowing where to go for services, how to navigate community and resources. We have a great partnership with the city government.
Now, also on Kentucky Newsmakers, businessman Alan Stein talks about a national award for Commerce Lexington. And Anderson County Sheriff Troy Young looks back on 30 years in law enforcement as he is set to step down. Kentucky Newsmakers tomorrow morning at 6 on WKYT. It repeats tomorrow at 10 a.m. on the CW Lexington. I'm Bill Bryant. We'll be right back.
Welcome back on this beautiful Saturday morning. Jim showed us a beautiful shot of the sun earlier. Looked like a pretty day out there.
It is a pretty day, but before we go...
Oh yeah, check out this crazy story out of Seattle.
This is newly released dash cam video from one Seattle police officer's cruiser. You can see a man wandering around inside a tunnel. That man was accused of assaulting a passenger on a bus, but he'll probably face more charges after this. Take a look. This happened back in 2013. The man's high-speed joyride lasted about 15 minutes. He wove in and out of traffic and had a lot of fun during the spree. He ended up crashing into a barrier. The man was arrested but taken to the hospital first. Now that, wow.
Well, it looked like he was in a video game.
It looked like he was in a video game,
right?
and maybe he thought he was. We don't know exactly the whole story there. Showers, thunderstorms possible on a scattered variety out there today. Better chances of it coming together tomorrow with some heavier pockets of rain, Michelle, for Sunday and into Monday.
Well, thank you so much, Jimmy, and thank you so much for joining us on this Saturday morning. Have a good one.